All right, we're going to be chapter 6 in the helicopter flying handbook. This will be chapter 6, weight and balance. All right. It is vital to comply with the weight and balance limits established for helicopters. Operating above the maximum weight limitation compromises the structural integrity of the helicopter and adversely affects performance. Balance is also critical because on some fully loaded helicopters, center of gravity deviations as small as 3 inches can dramatically change a helicopter's handling characteristics. Operating a helicopter that is not within the weight and balance limitations is unsafe. Refer to FAA H-8083-1 Aircraft Weight and Balance Handbook for more detailed information. All right, page 2. Weight. When determining if a helicopter is within the weight limits, consider the weight of the basic helicopter, crew, passengers, cargo, and fuel. Although the effective weight-load factor varies during maneuvering flights, this chapter primarily considers the weight of the loaded helicopter while at rest. It is critical to understand that the maximum allowable weight may change during flight. When operations include OGE hovers and confined areas, planning must be done to ensure that the helicopter is capable of lifting the weight during all phases of flight. The weight may be acceptable during the early morning hours, but as the density altitude increases during the day, the maximum allowable weight may have to be reduced to keep the helicopter within its capabilities. The following terms are used when computing a helicopter's weight. Got your basic empty weight. The starting point for weight computations is the basic empty weight, which is the weight of the standard helicopter, optional equipment, usable fuel, unusable fuel, and all operating fluids, including engine and transmission oil and hydraulic fluids for those aircraft so equipped. Some helicopters might use the term licensed empty weight, which is nearly the same as the basic empty weight, except that it does not include full engine and transmission oil, just undrained oil. If flying a helicopter that lists in licensed empty weight, be sure to add the weight of the oil to the computations. Maximum gross weight. The maximum weight of the helicopter. Most helicopters have an internal maximum gross weight, which refers to the weight within the helicopter structure, and an external maximum gross weight, which refers to the weight of the helicopter with an external load. The external maximum weight may vary depending on where it is attached to the helicopter. Some large cargo helicopters may have several attachment points for sling load or winch operations. These helicopters can carry a tremendous amount of weight when the attachment point is directly under the CG of the aircraft's center of gravity. Weight limitations. Weight limitations are necessary to guarantee the structural integrity of the helicopter and enable pilots to predict helicopter performance accurately. Although aircraft manufacturers build in safety factors, a pilot should never intentionally exceed the load limits for which a helicopter is certificated. Operating below a minimum weight could adversely affect the handling characteristics of a helicopter. During single-pilot operations of some helicopter, a pilot needs to use a large amount of forward cyclic in order to maintain a hover. By adding ballast to the helicopter, the cyclic position is closer to CG, which gives a greater range of control motion in every direction. When operating at or below the minimum weight of the helicopter, additional weight also improves autorotational characteristics, since the autorotational descent can be established sooner. In addition, operating below minimum weight could prevent achieving the desirable rotor revolutions per minute RPM during auto rotations. Operating above a maximum weight could result in structural deformation or failure during flight if encountering excessive load factor, strong wind gusts, or turbulence. Weight and maneuvering limitations also are factors considered for establishing fatigue life of components. Overweight, meaning overstressed parts, fail sooner than anticipated. Therefore, premature failure is a major consideration in determinations of fatigue life and life cycle of parts. Although a helicopter is certificated for a specified maximum gross weight, it is not safe to take off with this load under some conditions. Anything that adversely affects takeoff, climb, hovering, and landing performance may require offloading of fuel, passengers, baggage to some weight less than the published maximum. Factors that can affect performance include high altitude, high temperature, and high humidity conditions, which result in a high density altitude. In-depth performance planning is critical when operating in these conditions. So that was a section of weight. This is chapter 6. That was page 2. We're gonna hold off there. See ya.